to a review of Dexter Resurrection episode 6, which is titled Cats and Mouse. And we'll just go straight in, and we begin with Dexter sweeping, and then Blessing comes down. Blessing seems quite forlorn and a bit down, and obviously we find out that Blessing's mother Prudence has died. So then he ends up calling Harrison, and they're discussing attire, and then Harrison says he can get a suit from the hotel for Dexter. He goes over, has a suit for himself, and they kind of have this bonding moment where they are trying on ties and stuff, and it's quite wholesome, to be honest. And so we kind of have this scene where they're celebrating Prudence's life, which is good to see, and people are speaking on Prudence, and then Dexter also does this, and it really shows a human side to him. And they're giving out kind of these cat things, and I love cats, so I thought that was kind of funny how Dexter is one of those weird comic Dexter moments where he's just standing there with like this big porcelain cat, and it's quite amusing. But yeah, it's, even though Prudence died, she died peacefully, and the family are kind of they accept it in a way. So then Charlie goes to Red's apartment and is like just gone off fruit and cereal and stuff like that, and she calls he calls Dexter and is like, what the hell's going on? And so does Leon, and then they have to go to a meeting. So then we have Wallace and Oliva interviewing the victim of Mia, and this victim enters saying, you know, it was the first kill in New York or stuff like that, and Oliva is saying he could be concussed, he's all over the place, and they are kind of debating, they're definitely there's conflict between them. Then Batista enters saying LaPierre didn't do it, and he obviously, at this stage, he's certain Dexter is the butcher. And with the 9 pieces thing, he's quite certain that Harrison is butchering too, basically. And they are skeptical because it's all kind of hearsay at this point. Like, I thought Wallace would really go for this, but she's quite convinced that it was LaPierre at this point. They don't really go for it. And then Dexter goes to Prater's and meets Al and Gareth, and they're all kind of like, Mia's in prison, what are we going to do? And Al is played by Cameron from Modern Family. He's really killing it, this actor. And Gareth is just yapping on about how he's top of the FBI wanted list. There's books about him. David Fincher's making a movie, and it's quite funny. And obviously it's clear that there's 2 twins now, we know. The first meeting, the twin was very quiet, and at this meeting, Gareth is just yapping on, and then Prater gives him cash. It's kind of like, calm down, here's just some money. And then Charlie goes to like this underground gambling thing, just gives cash to some guy, which is important later. And Gareth goes to look at books about himself and puts kind of bookmark in a chapter, which I presume is for the other twin. And then Dexter sees all this, and then I would have to guess it's the other twin sees him, and then he kind of is reading the Bay Harbor Butcher chapter, and Harry's there, and they kind of find it funny, like. And then Charlie visits her mother again, kind of saying, you won't believe what I had to do today. And Harrison has been asked to take care of Dante by Elsa again, and it's kind of like mold, and this kid Dante has asthma, and it's a bit of an issue. It's kind of a funny moment where, well, to me it was funny. Blessing is raging about the amount of ice, and it's obviously he's just not compartmentalizing well about his mother's death. And Garrett stalks Dexter to his apartment. They have an intense chat, and it's clear this is the cocky twin. Dexter thinks he knows that this Garrett is so smart to try and swap the glasses, so he puts M99, the one is his hand, Garrett swaps, and Garrett goes down. And Dexter doesn't even listen to Garrett, he just kills him. And then we have a scene of Harrison and Dante playing like indoor basketball. It's quite cute and wholesome. Dante kind of gets his asthma attack, and then he kind of puts the kid to bed, and again it's quite nice. And then Harrison's about to dig in some pasta, then the landlord knocks, and it's played by Bobby Steve Sharp, I think is the actor from The Sopranos, and he's just really aggressive and rude and confrontational, and Harrison hallucinates killing this landlord but doesn't do it. He kind of had that flash, that look into the craziness that is within him deep down. And eventually they just have a heated discussion and he backs off. So back to Dexter killing Garrett. Blessing knocks just as he's wrapping up the body. Dexter panics, moves into the bathtub. Kind of gets some Blessing lore here. Blessing is just talking about how he was in the Sierra Leone army or whatever and killed people, and it was rough. And he opens up, and it's interesting. Got to find out more about Blessing. And he wants some kind of painkillers and goes into the bath, and he's very conscientious. He's like, there's one clip of a shower curtain undone, it's not a big deal really. And he's just like, oh, so sorry. And he almost finds Garrett, but it's a big relief. And it's another bullet dodge for Dexter. So now then we have a scene of Harrison and Dexter in a cafe. Harrison talks about this hallucination of killing the landlord. Dexter kind of reassures him, you're a good person, okay? You're not like me. Just like to be okay with yourself. Don't beat yourself up because of thoughts, like, because they're just thoughts. And then Charlie calls Dexter for this like meetup. And then we go to the prison. Batista, Wallace and Oliver are going to visit Mia. Batista's gone to show this picture of Dexter to Mia. And then there was a suicide in inverted commas, because then we see this prison guard that Charlie paid off. And it's clear that some sort of shenanigans went on and Mia's dead now. Probably because they knew she would have tried to not talk, but something would have come up. So then there's this helicopter meetup, and Dexter meets Al, Prater, Charlie, and they're just waiting for Gemini, and Dexter's like, in his head, oh, he's not coming because I killed him. And then another car pulls up, and the other Gemini comes, and it's clear he's the more shy one. He's kind of walks a bit gingerly or something, and he comes in and is like, I'm here. And Dexter kind of looks at him awkwardly, and Garrett looks back. And he's kind of just like, he's just in shock a little, but then it quickly clocks what the hell is going on here. And that is the episode, and I really enjoyed it. I think the plot was advanced in quite a meaningful way because key things happened. So I kind of had the first big episode involving David Dasmalchian's character, the Gemini killer, where he got lots of dialogue. And it was enjoyable because I think he's a super actor. And obviously Mia being killed was very important. And we also have the first time that Batista brings his butcher, this Morgan family killing group thing, to the NYPD homicide. And they kind of don't go for it, which I thought, I was surprised. Because I think that logically, you'd think that Dexter and Harrison would be coming under heat halfway through the season, but there's still just no real pressure on them, especially because even though there's lots of evidence, circumstantial evidence for Mia, it's not certain, but that evidence is so key, like in terms of police work. That watch being in that box is very consequential. They kind of, if they didn't arrest her and convict her, well, now she's dead, but you know what I mean, then it would be like, but the watch was in her box, of course it's her. And then on Prater, I think, I don't know what this other Gemini is going to do. Do they communicate often? Eventually he's going to realize something is amiss. And given he's a killer on the top of the FBI wanted list, he knows how to stalk people or whatever. And I think he's going to find out that Red is actually Dexter. And thank you for watching, and like, share and subscribe. See you next time.